Did you know that your face might be the first place your heart cries for help, and you'd never even notice? Every day, countless older adults look in the mirror and see subtle changes in their nails, skin, or eyes, but shrug them off as just aging. What if those little changes weren't so harmless after all? What if they were your body's early warning signs of heart failure? Long before you feel pain in your chest or lose your breath in this video, I'll walk you through 6 visual signs that experienced doctors immediately recognize as red flags. Signs that could appear in your mirror right now and give you a precious head start in protecting your heart. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? And what time is it right now? Please let me know in the comments below. Even a small moment from your day means a lot to me. And if you find this content helpful, don't forget to subscribe, so you won't miss the next important health update. As we grow older, our bodies begin to speak to us in quiet, subtle ways that are easy to overlook. If we're not paying close attention, one of those whispers can be found right at your fingertips. It may surprise you, but your nails could be trying to tell you something important about your heart. They're not just a part of your appearance. They're a mirror of your internal health. And for older adults, especially those over 65, they might be one of the earliest signs that something deeper is going on. Take a quiet moment today and look closely at your fingernails. Do they seem a bit paler than usual? Is there a bluish or purplish tint at the tips? Perhaps they've started to curve downward slightly, like little spoons, or maybe they've become more brittle with ridges or lines running across them that weren't there before. These changes may seem minor or cosmetic at first glance, but for many seniors they can be a critical early signal that the heart isn't pumping as well as it should. You see, when the heart becomes weaker, it struggles to push oxygen-rich blood to every part of the body. And the parts furthest from the heart, like your fingers, are often the first to reflect this subtle drop in oxygen. Your nails in particular can begin to change in texture, shape, or color, long before you feel chest pain or fatigue. This condition, especially when nails begin to round and curve, is known in the medical world as clubbing, and it's often linked to heart and lung problems. There's real science behind it. When the tissues under the nails don't receive enough oxygen over time, they begin to swell. This changes the angle between the nail and the nail bed, making the nail appear more curved and the fingertips puffier than normal. Doctors call this a sign of chronic hypoxia, which means low oxygen supply. And one of the most common causes of chronic hypoxia in older adults is heart failure that has been silently progressing for months or even years. Let me tell you about Doris, a 71-year-old grandmother from Nebraska. She didn't feel any pain, no shortness of breath, no chest pressure. But her daughter, who happened to be a nurse, noticed that Doris's nails had started to curve and take on that classic spoon-like appearance. She gently insisted that her mother see a doctor. Tests revealed something alarming. Doris's heart was functioning at less than 40% of its normal capacity. The cardiologist told her, "You came in just in time. If you had waited any longer, your options would have been much more limited." It's stories like Doris's that remind us how easily we dismiss the signs our bodies are trying to share. We often say it's just age, or that's normal for someone my age. But not everything is simply aging. Some changes are warnings, gentle, persistent ones asking us to listen. And thankfully, when caught early, heart failure can often be managed with medications, lifestyle changes, and close medical care. So here's something simple you can do today. Find a quiet space with good lighting, maybe near a window. Hold your hands up and examine your nails carefully. Look at the color, the shape, the strength. If something feels different or looks off, don't ignore it. Take a picture, write it down, and talk to your doctor. Don't wait for your next appointment. Your body might be giving you the gift of early warning. Don't let it go unheard. As we age, there are many small changes in our bodies that we tend to overlook or explain away as just getting older. One of the most common and often ignored changes is in our hair. You might notice more strands left behind in your brush, or maybe your hair, once soft and full, has become dry, brittle, and easier to break. Over time, it may even feel thinner than it used to be, as if the volume has slowly faded without warning. These changes don't always mean something is wrong, but in certain cases, they can be the first quiet signal of a deeper issue, one that needs attention before it grows worse. You see, our hair is more than a cosmetic feature. It's a living part of our body that depends on steady blood flow and nutrient delivery. And that means when your circulation begins to weaken, especially due to early heart problems, your hair is often the first place that shows it. Hair follicles are extremely sensitive to oxygen and nutrient levels in the bloodstream. When the heart becomes less efficient at pumping blood, the body makes choices. It prioritizes vital organs, like the brain and heart itself, often at the expense of less urgent areas, like your scalp and skin. This reduced blood flow can silently starve hair follicles, causing the hair to fall out more easily, change texture, or even stop growing altogether. Many people dismiss these changes. After all, it's easy to blame hair loss or dryness on age stress, or even a new shampoo. But sometimes these subtle shifts are your body's first attempt to get your attention, especially when the change comes on suddenly or continues verse several weeks. Let me share the story of Lawrence, a 73-year-old retired accountant from Minnesota. Lawrence had always prided himself on his thick silver hair, but one morning as he brushed his hair, he noticed far more shedding than usual. Over the next few weeks, his wife commented that his hair looked thinner and drier, but she gently reassured him it was probably just aging. Still, Lawrence felt something wasn't right. On his next checkup, he mentioned it to his doctor just in passing. That small comment may have saved his life. His doctor, concerned by the sudden change, ordered heart tests. The results showed that Lawrence's heart was functioning at only 35% of its normal capacity. He had early-stage heart failure, though he hadn't yet felt the classic symptoms like shortness of breath or chest pressure. His hair had spoken before his heart did. That's why paying attention to these details matters. It's not about vanity or appearance. It's about awareness. When your hair starts telling a different story, especially if it changes quickly, it could be worth listening to. So here's what you can do. Look at old photos of yourself just from 6 months or a year ago. Does your hair look noticeably thinner? Today, run your fingers through it now. Does it break more easily than it used to? Has it lost that natural shine? These signs, especially in combination, deserve more than a shrug. Write them down, take a picture, and talk to your doctor. Not just your hairdresser. The sooner you catch signs of poor circulation or early heart trouble, the better your chances are of turning things around. Your body is speaking, and sometimes it starts with the hair on your head. Some mornings you might wake up, glance in the mirror, and notice that your face looks just a little puffier than usual. Maybe it's around your eyes where the skin seems swollen. Or perhaps your cheeks and jawline appear heavier than they did the night before. It's easy to brush this off. Maybe you think it's the pillow, the salt in last night's dinner, or just part of getting older. But sometimes those soft, swollen features are more than a cosmetic issue. Sometimes they're the quiet signal of something much deeper. Your heart is struggling. In older adults, especially those over 60, the body begins to respond differently to even small changes in fluid balance. When the heart becomes weaker, even just a little, it can't pump blood as efficiently as it once did. That slowdown doesn't just affect your energy or breathing. It affects how your body moves and manages fluids, and one of the first places those fluids can start to gather is your face. Why the face? You might wonder, it's all about gravity and position. At night while you sleep, lying down, fluid that normally settles in the lower body shifts upward. If your heart isn't working at full strength, that fluid isn't properly circulated or eliminated. Instead, it lingers especially in cup tissues, like the eyelids, cheeks, and jaw. By morning you may notice puffiness, especially under the eyes, but as you get up and move around during the day, gravity pulls that fluid back down and the swelling quietly disappears, making it all too easy to ignore. But ignoring it might mean missing an early opportunity to protect your heart. Morning facial swelling, when it happens repeatedly, is something doctors trained in heart health immediately recognize. It doesn't always mean heart failure, but it certainly deserves a closer look, especially if it becomes a pattern. Let me share a real-life story that brings this to light. Harriet, a 69-year-old retired librarian from Wisconsin, began noticing that her morning reflection looked different. Her daughter mentioned it first. "Mom, your eyes look more tired lately," she said gently one morning over coffee. Harriet laughed it off, blaming her new pillow and the dry winter air. But the puffiness kept showing up day after day. Eventually, a friend who hadn't seen Harriet in months said, "Oh, you look a little swollen in the face. Are you feeling okay?" That comment stuck with her. Harriet finally mentioned it to her doctor during her regular checkup. Her doctor didn't hesitate. She ordered tests, and the results revealed early-stage heart failure. Her heart was no longer pumping as strongly as it once did. But here's the good news. Because Harriet spoke up early, her condition was caught before serious damage occurred. Today, with proper treatment and lifestyle adjustments, she's doing well, and she never again ignores what her face is trying to tell her. So what can you do right now? Start by taking 2 simple photos of your face. One just after waking up, and one later in the evening. Compare them. Is the morning photo noticeably puffier? Do your eyes or jawline look more swollen than they used to if you see a change? And it keeps happening. Don't rush out to buy new eye cream. Call your doctor and mention exactly what you're noticing. Our bodies are always speaking to us, often in whispers, and your face, especially in the quiet moments of morning, might be one of the first places your heart chooses to speak. The question is, are you ready to listen? Sometimes the mirror shows us more than just the passage of time. It reveals quiet changes that our eyes notice, but our minds dismiss. You may look at your reflection one morning and see that your lips seem a little pale, or have a bluish tint. Or maybe your skin appears more gray than usual, a little washed out, or even slightly yellow. You might assume it's poor lighting, fatigue, or just a bad day. But for older adults, especially those over 65, these color changes may be telling a deeper story, one that starts not in your skin, but in your heart. You see, the color of your skin, lips, gums, and fingertips depends on healthy circulation. When your heart is strong, it pumps oxygen-rich blood to every cell in your body, keeping your complexion vibrant. Your lips pink and your nail beds full of life. But when the heart begins to weaken, when it can't pump as forcefully as it once did, oxygen delivery slows, and the first places to lose that warm, healthy glow are the areas farthest from the core. The lips, fingers, earlobes, gums, and even the whites of your eyes. Doctors call this phenomenon central cyanosis, when oxygen levels in the blood drop low enough to visibly affect color. The lips may turn blue or purple. The skin may take on a grayish or ashen tone, and the inside of the lower eyelids might look pale instead of pink. These are not cosmetic issues. They are visible flags that the body is not getting enough oxygen, and the heart may be struggling silently in the background. Let me tell you about Bradley, a 75-year-old retired construction worker from Arizona. For most of his life, Bradley had been active, strong, and rarely sick. But one afternoon during a routine haircut, his longtime barber paused and looked at him with concern. "Your lips look different," he said, pointing gently. "They've got a bluish tone, and your skin's looking kinda gray today." Bradley laughed it off at first, but the barber insisted he get it checked out. Thankfully, he listened. When Bradley saw his doctor a few days later, blood tests and imaging revealed that he had congestive heart failure. His heart was holding on to fluid and struggling to deliver oxygen where it was needed. His skin and lips had been trying to tell him long before any chest pain arrived. That barber's simple observation and Bradley's decision to act on it may have saved his life. This is why it's so important to pay attention to changes in your skin tone, especially as you age. You know your body better than anyone. If something about your appearance seems off, it's worth a second look. And don't just check in, dim bathroom light. Step near a window, use natural daylight, and really examine your lips, your cheeks, your gums, and your fingertips. Are your lips still rosy and full of color? Do your nail beds look healthy and pink or pale and dull? Are the whites of your eyes clear, or do they seem yellowish? These small observations can speak volumes about what's happening inside your body. And if you notice a change that lingers or seems to worsen, don't wait. Contact your doctor, describe the changes clearly, and request an evaluation. In many cases, early intervention can prevent serious complications and allow for gentler, more effective treatment. Heart failure doesn't usually start with dramatic pain. It often begins with a whisper. And sometimes that whisper shows up on your skin. So trust your reflection. Let it remind you that your health is always worth a second look. Sometimes the body speaks in small, quiet signs that are easy to miss, but powerful when you know how to listen. And one of those signs might be sitting quietly on your earlobe. It may sound surprising, but doctors have long observed a subtle crease on the earlobe that could point to a deeper issue with your heart. For seniors, especially those over 65, this isn't something to ignore. It could be your body's way of asking for help before the heart raises a louder alarm. This small diagonal line, known in the medical world as Frank's sign, runs from the middle of the earlobe down toward its edge. It can appear on one side or both, and it doesn't hurt or itch. So many people don't even realize it's there. But cardiologists have noted that this crease may be linked to reduced blood flow to the tissues, a condition that often results from narrowing or hardening of the coronary arteries. You see when arteries become stiff or clogged, usually from age-related plaque buildup. The oxygen-rich blood your heart needs can't flow freely. Over time, this slow starvation of the tissues doesn't just affect your heart. It can affect other parts of your body too, including the small delicate structures like your earlobes. That crease is believed to form because of subtle changes in the connective tissue and small blood vessels, especially when the blood supply isn't quite what it used to be. What's striking is how often this small feature shows up in people with coronary artery disease, even when they feel fine. Studies published in major cardiology journals have shown consistent links between Frank's sign and heart disease risk. While it's not a guarantee, it is a visible clue and one worth paying attention to, especially when other early signs of heart strain haven't yet appeared. Let me tell you about Gregory, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania. Gregory was in relatively good shape, still walking every morning, and rarely missing a doctor's appointment. During one of his routine checkups, his physician leaned in and looked at his ear, then gently asked, "Have you noticed this crease on your earlobe?" Gregory hadn't, but the doctor had seen it before and knew it could be a marker of deeper cardiovascular issues. Just to be cautious, the doctor ordered further testing, including a coronary angiogram. The results were startling. Gregory had significant blockages in all three of his major coronary arteries, a condition known as triple vessel disease. "You're lucky we found this now," his cardiologist later told him. "You were at high risk for a heart attack and didn't even feel it coming. Thanks to one small observation and a doctor who knew what to look for, Gregory was able to get the treatment he needed before disaster struck." So here's something simple you can do today. Stand near a bright window or in a room with good lighting. Use a mirror, or even ask a loved one to take a close-up photo of your earlobes. Look carefully. Do you see a diagonal line or crease that wasn't there before? If you do, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Take that photo with you to your next doctor's visit. Mention it. Ask if it's worth checking your heart more closely. Sometimes health doesn't come down to dramatic symptoms. T starts with quiet whispers and visible hints. Your earlobes may be telling a story that your heart hasn't spoken aloud yet. All you need to do is take a closer look. Ask the right questions, and trust that even small signs can lead to life-changing answers. Sometimes the smallest changes in your body are the ones trying hardest to speak. And for many older adults, one of the earliest whispers of heart trouble can be found not in the chest but in the mouth. That may come as a surprise, especially if you've always thought of gum health and heart health as two separate things. But in truth, the two are more connected than most people realize. And as we age, that connection becomes even more important to pay attention to. Imagine brushing your teeth one morning and noticing your gums look darker than usual. Maybe they've started to pull back a little from your teeth. Perhaps you see small spots of blood in the sink even though you're not brushing any harder than before. Or maybe your breath has taken on a stale, persistent odor despite careful flossing and a daily mouthwash routine. At first you might think it's just aging gums or the side effect of a new toothpaste. But in some cases, these are among the first physical signs that your heart isn't getting enough blood to keep everything functioning smoothly. You see, your gums and the tissues inside your mouth rely on tiny, delicate blood vessels. They need a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood to stay healthy, repair themselves, and fight off everyday bacteria. When your heart starts to weaken, even slightly, those smaller vessels are often the first to feel the effects. The result is slower healing, higher susceptibility to infection, and changes in tissue color and resilience. Doctors have long known that poor circulation can trigger subtle inflammation in the gums. And while this may begin as mild bleeding or tenderness over time, it can lead to more serious problems, like receding gums, tooth sensitivity, or even teeth that feel a bit loose. For some older adults, these symptoms appear months before more dramatic signs of heart failure develop. The mouth, it turns out, is one of the earliest parts of the body to reflect the stress of a struggling heart. That's exactly what happened to Vincent, a 70-year-old retired postal worker from Florida. For months, Vincent had noticed a sour taste in his mouth and mild gum irritation. He brushed more frequently, switched toothpaste, and even bought a new electric toothbrush. But nothing helped. His dentist, during a routine cleaning, noticed the gum recession and discoloration, and asked if Vincent had been feeling more tired or out of breath lately. Vincent hadn't really noticed, just assumed he was slowing down because of age, but the dentist gently urged him to get a full medical checkup. Vincent followed through, and the results were eye-opening. His doctor diagnosed him with early-stage heart failure. His heart was still working, but at a reduced capacity. The poor blood flow had already started to affect his gums before other symptoms appeared. Fortunately, because it was caught early, Vincent was able to begin treatment right away, and today his condition is stable, his energy is back, and yes, even his gum health has improved. So the next time you brush your teeth, take a moment to look a little closer. Are your gums a healthy pink, or have they started to look purplish or pale? Are they pulling back from your teeth or bleeding more easily than they used to do? Your teeth feel more sensitive or looser than normal. And has your breath changed even when your hygiene habits haven't? These aren't just dental issues. They could be messages from your heart. If you notice these changes, schedule an appointment with both your dentist and your doctor. Mention what you've seen and ask if further heart testing is needed. Your mouth is part of your story, and sometimes it speaks long before your heart raises its voice. Listen closely. It just might help save your life. As we come to the end of this video, I hope you're walking away with a gentle reminder. Your body is never truly silent. It's always trying to tell you something. The signs may be small, quiet, and easy to miss, but they matter. A pale lip, a swollen cheek, a curved nail. These little clues could be the first whisper from your heart, asking for help before it cries out in pain. Catching these changes early doesn't just make treatment easier, it can truly change the course of your life. You don't need to wait for pain or shortness of breath to start listening, because sometimes your heart speaks through the mirror. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed one of these signs in yourself or a loved one? Or maybe today's video opened your eyes in a new way. Just leave a comment below, even just the word hope, to let me know you're here, paying attention to your health and choosing to care. If you found this helpful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. And if you know someone over 60, a friend, a parent, a neighbor, please share this video with them. What you pass along today might just help someone catch a warning sign in time. And until we meet again, I hope your days feel lighter, your steps feel stronger, and each morning brings a little more peace than the last. Take care of yourself, your heart is counting on you.